How absurd is it that you bought a home on farmland and didn't expect this to happen?
Right.
Like literally when you signed the agreement of purchase and sale, there were fucking cows on the lawn roaming because it was a farm. What did you expect? Like, this is not Sim City. It doesn't get done in like 3 days. There's a whole plan that goes around it. Well, why didn't you hop onto the Milton website and look at the plans of the expansion of Britannia Road? Look at the plans of expansion for that neighborhood. And see what you're going to be dealing with. And now you have the balls to complain about, oh no, they closed down all the roads and there's too much dust. And, like, what? Why didn't you buy a resale home? Now you're going to complain.
You can't yell into your microphone. You get cut off when you do that.
All right. Hello. Welcome to episode 152 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Ariel. He's Adrian. Why are you laughing, Adrian? Already.
I just love how I love how you put your radio voice on for that. Welcome to episode 152.
Trying to keep it professional. You know what I mean? 152 episodes in, you kind of know what you're doing by now. And if you don't, you probably shouldn't be recording a podcast.
You become a whole new person.
All right. Today we're talking about the pitfalls of buying a new construction home. Brand new build.
Yes.
Lots of that happening, certainly in our hometown of Milton.
Yes.
And a lot of the areas west and southwest of us. Lots of new construction. Not so much in Mississauga, Oakville, Oakville, actually, there's still quite a bit going on. Certainly not too much in Burlington, Mississauga. But a lot of it in Milton, Guelph, Hamilton, Ancaster. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I think it was a post on one of the local Facebook groups that kind of initiated that thought process for you to want to talk about it in today's podcast. Do you want to touch on that at all? By the way, before we get into that, how are you?
That's very thoughtful of you.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. I'm really good.
Oh, we got back from a couple of days at my place up north and haven't really chatted with you since then. 2 full days of me was enough for you for a while.
Yeah, I just closed my door, locked myself inside. It's been good.
Wept into your pillow.
Yeah, I missed you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Good. Busy. Got some work done around the house. Everybody was making fun of my knee pads in my Instagram post.
That was ridiculous.
Well, that's what I needed to wear to get the job done.
Did you get the job done?
Yeah. It turned out quite nice. I'm quite impressed.
So you replaced the old shitty, noisy bathroom fan with a new whisper quiet version?
I replaced it with a whisper quiet Panasonic something or other. And it was a relatively straightforward job, but there was a few things that I had to correct. So it was larger, so I had to cut a larger hole. And then Mattamy, when they installed the old one, it was a smaller fit, and it didn't come with a bracket or anything to mount between the joists. So they just screwed in a 2x4, just a loose piece of 2x4. They screwed it into the ceiling and used that as one of the mounting brackets for the other side of the other side of the fan, which may have been one of the reasons it was noisy, because I'm sure that wasn't
vibration.
It wasn't that secure. But I couldn't tell from inside of the bathroom what that piece of wood was. I assumed that's what it was, but I didn't know if something else was connected to it or if it was actually connected to the joist somehow. So I went up into the attic, walked all the way across as you balance and maneuver my way through all the trusses, and saw, okay, it's just a piece of wood screwed into the drywall. There's nothing connected on either end. So I removed that, cut the right hole, installed the fan, and then realized that they only had just enough wire to connect to the fan that was there. And the new fan, the connections are on the opposite side of it. So I needed like a foot of length. So I had to go put a junction box in the attic, get some more wire, extend it, So that's why I had the knee pads. I was kneeling on the floor, on the joists, the ceiling joists in the attic in order to set up the wiring and then tape up the new fan. I didn't want it to have any loose areas where moisture may get through. So I did it properly and it works great.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
We often say, oh, Mattamy when they installed it.
Right.
And we're talking about new builds today. We're talking about the pitfalls about new builds. And I just wanted to tie this in real quick because when we say, and it's general, it happens all the time, whether it's realtors, homeowners, even builders themselves, whoever. They say, oh, Mattamy, Mattamy's roofs are shit, or Mattamy installed this incorrectly. What I think a lot of people that need to know, yes, Mattamy has their own crews for a lot of things, but Mattamy, as a home builder, we're calling Mattamy out because they're very well known and very prominent in Halton region. But they, for a lot of their work, it's piecework, it's subcontract work. So they're just hiring another company to come in and get the job done. So, when we, and that, from a business standpoint, I think a lot of industries are like that. For example, even it's still real estate related, but in our business, we hire a third party company to do our floor plans. As an example, we hire a third party company to clean our properties, and they're totally separate companies. But from a consumer perspective, it's seen as, no, I hired KT and KT did a shit job of cleaning the house.
Absolutely. Well, it all falls back on us. And that's why we have changed some of our suppliers in the past, because they didn't live up to our standards.
Yeah. And, so when Mattamy, quote unquote, Mattamy installed your bathroom fan, it wasn't Mattamy. It was, XYZ, whatever, HVAC.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to think about that. And XYZ HVAC may have installed your fan, but they may have not installed mine, right? It could have been a separate company or separate contractor or whatever.
Yeah.
Working on the very house next door. So sometimes those things are hard to gauge. But anyways, back to the root of the topic. Do you want to chat about what initiated this thought for you?
A lot of inspiration for podcast topics often comes off of these local Facebook pages. So this one in particular was Milton Talk, which we've mentioned before. It's the most prominent general group for the town of Milton. And somebody in one of the newer neighborhoods was complaining and asking a question. So their complaint was that they're basically cut off from town because of all the road work and bridge work going on in that neighborhood. And due to the work that's occurring right now, there's only one way in and out of their neighborhood. And it obviously sparked a lot of conversation, as most topics do on that page. And I commented saying, well, that's unfortunate, but these are some of the, as you mentioned, pitfalls of new construction. And these are things that you should be aware of when buying into a new development, especially in a town that's growing as fast as, in this case, Milton, because they don't have all that infrastructure yet. If you get an area like Oakville, where they're doing infill and they're taking a community within an existing community and expanding it, you've already got a lot of the roads and infrastructure there. It's a little bit different in those cases, but here they're widening roads, they're adding bridges, changing intersections, putting in roundabouts, etc. So there's a lot of work going on, and it takes a few years to get caught up. I mean, I think we can say, how long did it take in our neighborhood, would you say, before they got all the plazas up?
Same thing for us. It was one road in and out, and it was not convenient. There were no parks, and there was no plaza or anything. The parks came in. I want to say the first one was probably, we were living there for 2 years, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And the plaza was 5 or 6 years before it came in.
Yeah. I remember that when Bronte Street was closed, we used to throw the ball on there with Carter and run him up and down Bronny Street when they were doing construction there.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. Number one, how absurd is it that you bought a home on farmland and didn't expect this to happen?
Right.
Like literally when you signed the agreement of purchase and sale, there were fucking cows on the lawn roaming because it was a farm. What did you expect? Like, this is not Sim City. It doesn't get done in like 3 days. There's a whole plan that goes around it. And number two, the plans are actually available on the town's website for you to check out. So before you decided, oh, I'm going to buy a new Mattamy house, stand in line for 3 days because I'm buying it for 700 grand and it's going to be worth 800 grand by the time I close. That's why I'm buying it. Well, why didn't you hop onto the Milton website and look at the plans of the expansion of Britannia Road? Look at the plans of expansion for that neighborhood and see what you're going to be dealing with. And now you have the balls to complain about, oh no, they closed down all the roads and there's too much dust. And, you know, like, why didn't you buy a resale home? Now you're going to complain.
You can't yell into your microphone. You get cut off when you do that.
Well, we need better mics then.
No, it's probably in our best interest that they cut off when you get heated.
No.
They, it's
well, I'm not getting, it's not that I'm getting heated. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that somebody buys a new construction home in the first couple of phases where it's obvious that, like, okay, Thompson Road, south of Louis Saint Laurent to Britannia, was a paved one way or one lane each way road. The pavement on that road was so bad that it might as well have been gravel.
It was a dangerous road. The shoulders were short.
There's literally nothing else on the east side of that road, nothing else on the south side of that intersection. Like, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
But what did you expect?
Right.
That's part of, okay, we're talking pitfalls. That's part of the process in buying a new construction home in one of the early phases. That's why as phases get older, like you go into phase 5, 6, 12, whatever, the prices go up because now it's a more desirable living situation.
Right.
But yes, you buy in a new construction area, you're likely not going to have driveway, grass, parks, amenities.
Well, your kids are going to get shuffled around schools.
Yeah. That's reality.
So I think the premise of it is just this person had no idea what to expect, obviously. So they just heard, oh, new construction, Milton, it's a good buy. Let's go purchase it and move there. But so right. How did you know? I think
spend $750,000 or probably spend $1 million and you have no idea what you're spending it on other than a 2D floor plan.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's not a bad purchase at all. It's I'm sure they did well with it, but it's a matter of if that's where you want to live, which it sounds like that's their intention of the buy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be complaining so much if they were just flipping the house. But, you know, if you want to live there, you need to figure out, okay, well, what are the pros and cons to buying in a community like this? And the same thing exists for existing communities. Like part of my post was saying that this is why a lot of the older neighborhoods are becoming more desirable because people don't like the new construction lifestyle. They don't like the dust. They don't like that they can't open their windows in the spring and the summer. They don't like that they have nowhere to walk their dog or take their kids to play for a couple of years. So that's why there's a lot of people moving in to the inner parts of the town that's already developed. And, you know, some of the downfalls there may be that they don't have, they're not as close to all of the new amenities. All the new amenities are going to be on the outer areas of town because that's where all the new construction's happening. All the new plazas are going up, but they have wider roads, bigger lots, bigger trees, a very different type of lifestyle, completely different.
Well, that's why renovated homes on those older streets are doing extremely well because
Absolutely.
you'll have that balance of nice mature trees, wider lots, and a more modern or more contemporary style inside the home.
Yeah. What do
Because
you
that
think?
is
I was going to say, what do you think? Because a lot of people's hesitation with these older homes is that they like the new updates and finishes and stuff. But of course, then when they see the ones you're talking about, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. So, but I find like one of the hesitations people have is, oh, I don't want to take on any renovations. What does that mean? I don't want to take on any renovations. What is their mindset? And because it's when I see it, maybe because we're immersed in the business, it's not a big deal. I don't understand. Why wouldn't you want to coordinate it? Have renovations over the course of a month. You can accomplish a lot in that time and make it your own home. Even hire a general contractor so you don't have to do it.
well, this is something that I'm considering in our search for a new home is the homes that we've been into that have had renovations aren't suitable for us or we don't like them.
Like you don't like the way they've been done?
Correct. Or and you end up paying for those renovations. So to tear
Right.
down those renovations and
justify.
redo it might be okay if you've got the right house in the right location and you're willing to live with it as is for a few years and whatever. But the challenge is if you have children, especially, I don't know how much work you can get done in a month. Realistically, like if you're talking floors, kitchen, tearing down walls, bathroom, like if you're doing a pretty significant renovation, it's going to go longer than 4 weeks. Certainly now with everything that's happening with COVID and availability of contractors, availability of supplies, those things. But I had this chat with Natalie. I said, well, potentially that means us moving into an Airbnb or a short-term rental, just so our lives are not, totally uprooted in the sense that if you're going to have construction workers in there every day and you're gutting a kitchen as an example, you still need a kitchen. It's a big undertaking to take on certain renovations. It is. It depends how extensive it is. If you're just replacing floors, well, floors you can do in a week or two max, and do that even in terms of a bridge between your
But you
new
say that
home
like I
and
think that's part of the problem. You can do it in a couple of days. I've seen one of our good clients and a friend of mine. He had all new floors put in. I think in like 3 days. His whole house, all the I can't remember what was there before. It was a combination of tile and old hardwood. Tore it all up. There was uneven areas where there was some floors higher than others. So they got all that done. They put in the new floors and had it done, I think, within like 2 or 3 days. And it was a 2,100 square foot home.
yeah, that's good.
So, if you coordinate it in advance.
Baseboards, new baseboards or existing?
New trim. Yeah. Baseboards, door trim,
that's very
window
good.
trim. Pretty extensive reno. Yeah. I mean that the trim work might have been in addition to that time frame I'm throwing out there, but hire the right people.
Anyway, I mean, yeah, things like floors, countertops, painting, light fixtures, those are the easy things. I'm talking when you start tearing down walls, having to relocate plumbing, ordering cabinetry, laying multi like different types of materials like tile, wood, carpet. Like once you start getting different mixes in there, that slows things down. And then,
when I moved into my first house, it wasn't even ready. I remember I had, what was it? It was the kitchen countertop wasn't in. So they had a big piece of plywood and a sink sitting on it.
I remember that just so they could close on the property.
Yeah.
But, I think the new home buyer is buying a new construction home because they want a brand new home that nobody else has lived in. They like the idea of picking their own choices, their own colors, their own floors, cabinetry. Some builders allow for minor adjustments on the floor plans. So you look at those 2D floor plans and you say, oh, yeah, I really like how whatever the living room is open to the kitchen. But I wish there was a sliding door instead of a garden door. Sometimes the builders will work with you with those sort of things. But, in terms of pitfalls, besides from dealing with things like expanding roads and dust and no grass and no parks and no pavement, etc. No fence.
Yeah, I mean,
quite
fence,
some time.
2-3 years.
Yeah, got to wait until everything's been signed off and graded properly. You got to order window coverings. Right now, things like that are getting delayed. So can't get measurements until you got the keys. So they go in, they take measurements, and you're without window coverings 4 to 6 weeks. And that's if you get them in there right away. What about appliances? We have a client. I won't say their name. I know she listens to the podcast. We've helped them sell a number of homes. We've helped her family sell a number of homes. Moved into a brand new home back in, I want to say May or June. And she posted something on Instagram a couple of days ago, and I commented on it because there was no stove, no range in the kitchen. This is October. So
this is a house that didn't come with it, so they had ordered it and it
correct.
Wasn't available yet.
Yeah, most new homes don't come with appliances now. So they had ordered it, I think she said 2 or 3 months before they got the keys. So it's 6 months ago they ordered this stove and still don't have it. Can you imagine being without a stove and an oven for, I don't know how long that's been now, since May. So 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
They're doing okay with it. I mean, I guess if you have an air fryer and an Instapot, that's all you need really. But
well, I guess it depends. Everybody's different. I mean, you could make do with anything. My brother and sister-in-law in Huntsville, their new house, they don't have a kitchen yet. They're just using basically, like you're saying, small appliances.
Yeah, but they just moved in. What if it's 5 months from now? It would be
no, I know
different.
for sure. But you
appliances, a lot of appliances now are on back order.
Yeah, I know lots of people that. I mean, it's been that way for a long time. But
so you've got no fence, you've got no window coverings, you've got no appliances,
AC.
You got no AC. Your light fixtures are all those $5 builder fixtures.
Well, that I wouldn't. That because when you buy a resale home, like let's talk old community, you don't have those. You have the cheap builder fixtures from 30 years ago because a lot of people never replace them.
What are known as boob lights.
Yeah. They're coming back lights. Though. They're coming back.
Yeah, you got to spray paint the white into like brass to make them look. That's like a TikTok quick fix, right? Like,
there you go.
Spray your boob lights with this brass paint.
Yeah. There you go. There's a new quick tip. Quick tip. Quick tip. TikTok.
Quick tip.
There you go. That's our new title.
5
quick
times
tip
fast.
TikTok series.
TikTok quick tip.
Yeah. Anyway, we just keep repeating each other because we spend too much time talking to each other. So would you buy, I mean, I think I know the answer because I know what you're doing, but would you be overly enthusiastic about buying new construction again? The first time I was excited.
I love the idea of buying a new build home.
Yeah.
I just find that it's so limiting now because a lot of the builders are doing it so you can't customize much.
Right.
And you go into their quote unquote design centers and you have options, but you have like four options, right? Like you can have hardware upgrade number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah. And even then it's like asterisks. And if this isn't available, we'll substitute it with something similar.
Right. which happened to me with one of my carpet selections in the bedrooms.
Yeah.
I upgraded to a Berber carpet in 3 of our bedrooms, and they called me, a few weeks before closing and said, "Hey, the carpet you chose is not available." And I'm like, "Well, all of the other selections were based on the color of that carpet, so now it screws up everything." But that happens, right?
Well,
But, like even what I find with floors, as an example, flooring in general has come a very long way in the last 10 years. You look at some of the tile options that exist at some of the bigger brands or retail locations, and even some of the tile companies that ship direct that are on Instagram. You have some beautiful tiles right now, and you go into the builder's showroom or their upgrade center or whatever they call it, and yeah, there's just a decent selection, but nothing that stands out and says, "Wow, this is custom," or "Wow, I gotta have this tile." It's like, okay, here's your subway tile, here's your herringbone tile, and we're gonna charge you 3 times as much as it will cost you to have it installed, just for a convenience factor.
Yeah.
And because that's where we make our money. Builders make a ton of money on those upgrades, right?
Yeah.
So, and buyer beware. If you feel that the price of this new construction home is so good compared to what's out there on the resale market, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. I just thought of a great idea.
They are deceivingly low to pull you in, sell it quickly, but then you realize half of the stuff that you want is an upgrade at a premium, and it doesn't have things like the AC, the appliances, and all that. So you just keep adding. And like right now, everybody's getting delayed too.
Yeah.
Right. So we have one client. They purchased I have a signed listing agreement to list their existing property, which I signed with them last January, I believe. So January of 2020. We're now into October of 2021.
You're gonna hit 2022.
So we probably will. They've been delayed 4 times.
I had a client recently who we sold their house before they moved into a new construction home, and 2 weeks before closing, they got delayed 3 weeks. So then they had to go find an Airbnb.
And the builders are getting away with it because it's quote unquote out of their control due to COVID.
Well, no, they're still protected by Terrion. It still qualifies for all that stuff. Yeah, but it's not convenient. Now you're moving twice. Throw kids and pets into the picture, and becomes not only costly potentially if the compensation through Terrion and the builder doesn't cover it, but just pain in the ass.
So that's
before I forget,
what's your good idea?
My idea. We should do this.
You're going to share it with the crowd?
Yeah.
Share it with the audience?
We can get someone's opinion on it. I'm pretty sure everybody will think, "Oh my God, Adrian, you're a genius. You should do it." This is what you and I should do. We should go buy 2 townhouses side by side, new construction, side by side. One, we upgrade to the 9s through the builder. The other one is basic. We close on both. Then we go in, hire our trades to go in and upgrade the other one and see what the cost difference is.
Sure, it's a good idea. I won't partner on the one that you're spending all the upgrade money on with the builder, though. So
you just have somebody rent it out for a year and you'll do okay.
You can find somebody else for that one. I'll go in on the one with no upgrades, thank you.
So okay, well then we buy one.
That's a question we get all the time. Clients will always message us, or followers will always message us and say, "Hey, we're thinking about buying this brand new construction home out in wherever. Do you think it's a good idea to do this upgrade, or what upgrades do you think?" And we've talked about this on past podcasts. I don't know what episodes. Go back, scroll through, and you'll find it.
What to do before versus after.
You can For those of you listening to this episode, this is episode 152 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. You can go and watch all of these podcasts on YouTube by going to ktconfidential.ca. And of course, you can listen to it anywhere you stream your podcast. So the upgrades that are must do, we've talked about this, the unchangeable stuff. So if we were to buy two townhouses, same next door to each other, I would still say if you had an option to upgrade the staircase, upgrade the ceiling height, open up the floor plan, or create a bigger bathroom, certainly in the primary ensuite, those are things that you really don't want to get into doing.
Right. Depending on at what cost. So if it pushes a laundry to the basement, just be a little weary of that.
I'm trying to think of where we could buy two townhomes right now.
Well, we'd have to
new construction.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somewhere like Woodstock.
That would be affordable. I don't know. Certainly, you can buy some in Oakville at 1.1.
Or we could do up in Huntsville, Gravenhurst, Bracebridge, Huntsville, somewhere like that. We've got enough contacts up there.
I love Huntsville as an investment. I've been saying that now for a few years. I've been spending a lot of time in Huntsville. Obviously, it's on my way to our property up north, about a half an hour drive door to door from downtown Huntsville to our cottage. So I've been spending quite a bit of time. And if you need anything, you need any shop for anything, or you want to go to a restaurant or anything, that's the only place to go. But as an investment, not even long term, like that's like a midterm, maybe even a shorter term, but a midterm investment, like 5 to 7 years. Whoever's investing in Huntsville property, Huntsville real estate right now is going to do really, 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 really well. And I'm not just talking waterfront property. I'm talking really anything in Huntsville is going to do quite well. That's my opinion. But yeah, we can have a look. I'd be open to something of that nature. I wonder if there are some of our followers that would share their like if they bought a very basic home and then decided to spend some money and renovate it on their own dime after. Well, we know somebody, one of our past clients and one of our a shot for Insta here. There you go. They bought a brand new build, closed on it, and gutted the kitchen.
Yeah.
And did a whole custom kitchen, like literally took out all the cabinets, the floors, whatever, after they closed, days after they closed, and then installed their own stuff.
See, that would be kind of neat. You'd literally take it almost right back. You don't tear the walls down necessarily, but take out all the cabinets, upgrade all of the tubs and shit, everything. Be interesting to see how the prices work out. But the nice thing I find with doing it yourself afterwards or buying resale and doing it is the options are endless. Like the materials, the colors, the styles, the way you install the tile. Like I don't think a lot of builders will do herringbone. They might do it as a backsplash if it comes as that's what the tile is, but they won't do it on your foyer.
Right. Well, I had issues. I upgraded my grout color when I purchased this home 11 years ago.
Yeah, my grout's terrible.
And not only was the grout and the grouting job terrible, but when they handed over the keys, the grout that was supposed to be white was gray because of all of the dust and dirt that they didn't protect the tile or the grout against. And they came back and redid it, and it just looked brutal. It still looks brutal, but that is what it is. But we titled this Pitfalls of Buying a New Construction. If you're looking for less hassle of getting those newer finishes, that is a way to do it, is just buying that brand new home. But at the same time, I'll throw out this caveat that is it less hassle? because now all of a sudden you've got this new home. You've got to get all of these other trades in there to, again, bring the appliances in, put the window coverings up, install the fence, install the AC, et cetera, et cetera. But what about all those carry-on claims in the first year?
Yeah.
So you've got all these deficiencies that are under warranty. That's great. But we've all heard the horror stories of you submitting that claim for your warranty. And the builder says, okay, Joe or whatever, we'll have somebody there for Monday at 9 a.m. You take the day off work. So you're waiting for this person at 9 a.m. and they don't show up. And you're like, what happened? The whole day goes by. Nobody ever showed up. That happens on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Very, very regular basis that it happens, that appointments aren't fulfilled, and that you end up have to track down people. And it's a pain in the butt to get some of that work done. And most of these deficiencies, they're not small things. Like I'm not talking about the nail pops. And there's another thing, nail pop. Okay, so there's a nail pop. You put it on your warranty. You know what the builder does? They come, they fix the nail pop, they patch it up, but they don't repaint.
Well, they don't even sand it. They just slap plaster on.
Right, because they're not waiting until it dries to sand it down for you. So they slap plaster on, and now you got to sand it down and repaint. We're listing a property in Milton that I'm going to say it's about 8 years old, and it's an older gentleman, retired gentleman that he did it by the book. He's the original owner. So 7 years ago, he filled out the carry-on claim for some damage in the walls and the ceiling and all this, and they came in, they fixed it. It's still like that because he didn't do it himself. Couldn't be bothered, I guess, to call somebody to fix it. So before listing it, we have a painter going in to paint the whole house and fix that all up. But so
when I think a lot of problems too, they don't present themselves right away, right? Like we had a client call me the other day. She and her family moved into a house that was between 2 and 3 years old, and they had a leak, water dripping through the master bedroom. They were installing a ceiling fan. They had water dripping through one day, and turns out it was probably penetrating through somewhere where there was a vent. So maybe the flashing was bad. I don't know. Anyways, it was out of warranty for that sort of stuff. So they had to hire a roofer to come in and repair it. And that sometimes happens. I mean, you get a house that's 10 years old, and it's likely that, through the course of 10 cycles of seasons that the house has shifted enough and most of the problems have presented themselves by that point.
So you were up in your attic installing this new fan. You haven't been up into your attic for a while. How's your attic look?
It's bone dry. It's good. Yeah.
Insulation is all good?
Yeah.
No signs of rodents?
None.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. No, it's I've poked my head up there maybe half a dozen times, if that, over the course of a decade. But this time I walked all the way to the other side, so I was quite thorough.
Did you take any pictures?
No, just a selfie.
With you with your knee pads on?
Yeah. No, I couldn't get the whole me in the frame up there. Just me with my mask on, the dark, dismal attic in the background.
Wow, this is the perfect weather to go up into your attic. It's not too hot, not too cold. So
yeah, exactly.
Probably why you did it now.
Yes, that and I was told to. So I did.
Good job. Good job. All right. That's it for today, episode 152 of KT Confidential. If you have any comments, we love to hear it. Leave us a message and give us some ideas of what you want to hear in the next episode. We'd love to hear what you want to hear. We'll talk about it in episode 153. We don't have a topic for 153, so somebody give us a topic. This was
Sounds
episode
good.
152. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Adrian?
Nice chatting as always. Have yourself a good day.
My pleasure. You too. Bye.